topics for you guys to talk about today. Things we've been asked about, you know, things that we want to figure people want to hear about. So one of the first things we want to talk about is our everyday carry. So it's important you pick some good everyday carry stuff that, you know, works for you, something that's comfortable, something, you know, if something happens, you're ready for it. It's just stuff that you want to have available to you at all times. So Rick, do a bag dump, see what you got in yours.
Yeah, it's a big debate. You know, you can look online and find a bunch of different answers on why you should carry what, but I've found, like, I've carried a lot of times, like, in the waistband. I've been in cold place where I carry out. We live in Florida, so it's hot as shit. Like, you're always sweating constantly, and take the damn gun out, and it's all wet and shit. So after going through all different holsters, you know, Kydex, hybrid, I personally found the sling bag to be the best. And so, yeah, pretty much I just carry
a purse.
A purse.
Well, don't, man, look, bro.
It's
bro.
man bag.
Want to be able to carry something. We don't have as many pockets as women do. I don't feel bad about carrying my bag. I carry my bag proudly, bro. Like, yeah, it's me and.
It's, yeah. So yeah, I carry the Glock 43X. Pretty popular gun right there. I mean, it's 10 rounds, small. That's all you need. You know, you don't need. I don't need 15 rounds. I shoot well enough that I think I just need 10. I'm good with that. Got my wallet in here. Flashlight. This is I don't know the model number, but it's actually an Energizer light, but it has like 800 lumens, bright as shit. So, and you can
people
swap
talking
out
3,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What you doing in the alley, bro?
And then spare mag, and my pocket knife, which is a paramilitary too. Yeah. G10 grips.
A paramilitary too from who?
Spyderco.
Spyderco. Big baller, big money out here.
All right, I got a question about your everyday carry.
Yeah.
Is that all that you carry in that bag?
Yeah.
So when you get out of the car, you take your keys, put them in your pocket, or you put them in that bag?
It depends. If I'm wearing basketball shorts, I'll put the keys in there.
It's a purse. If you put your when you put your keys in it, it's a purse. That's a man bag right there. The minute you put your keys in your chapstick,
well, okay, all right.
little cologne,
So like, all right.
He's like,
That's fucking bullshit.
I like it. That's the verifier right there. That's where the line is right there.
Like this and carry my damn keys like this. All right?
Wait. Let me tell you something, bitch.
I'm out.
All right. I carry it right here
Give me
because
my
it's
bag,
easy
get my
access.
keys real quick.
That's bullshit. I have a fucking, so I got this little loop right here, and usually I just put it right on my belt loop, and there you go.
But you can draw from that position, you practice that.
Yeah, you just go down and grab, you know? Yeah.
So you do everything with one hand, right? You unzip and then pull
Better
it.
sit down. Well, I like to go up, so, you know, zip up.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, Rock, what you got?
All right, so let's see here. Mine here in the back here, I have my Glock 43 with the extension, because I got this forever ago before the 43X was even available. So still rocking the same one. Let me see. And here, my wallet in there. Keep myself a little pen light. Decently bright. It ain't super bright, but it's bright enough to get the job done in most cases.
That? Oh,
That's a little Nebo, little Larry. Yeah, I use this for work too. You know, throw it around in your little pocket or whatever. It's pretty easy to keep around. It's rechargeable and all that. I like them. They're about $20. Keep my
pretty sick.
Microtech Combat Trodan right here. Pretty big, comfortable knife.
That's bougie, boy. Serious knife.
Yeah, I love that knife, man. My favorite knife I ever got, man. And just a little what's the thing? The Versacarry, a little holster there, not holster.
Damn, that's fire.
Yeah, a little holster. Yeah. Eddie just gave me a little chewing out about it a few minutes ago. But I mean, it offers there's a few things you want to think about when you get something like this. I mean, it does offer some disadvantages, some advantages, but it's not the only holster I have. It is the only one that does fit in here though, so it's one reason why.
That's what I was about to say. Is that it's really small, and it looks like you could like fit it anywhere and take it with you anywhere. Just
you can see it here, clear. Yeah, you can sit this thing right in here just like this. and it goes into your barrel like this. It really doesn't, I wear basketball shorts a lot because it's hot in Florida. So it really just makes it something easier to carry, and it's not super heavy. It's not a lot of extra weight on your hip drawn down. It is difficult to draw from a little bit, so usually you want to kind of have yourself prepared for it if something were to happen. You know what I mean? Kind of try to pull it out of the barrel a little bit to get it loose. But it offers advantages and disadvantages, so you kind of just take them as you go. You know what I mean? But I do like it. It fits in my bag. It's small enough. Let's see here. And other stuff really is not so much about protection. Just so I have a charger for my phone. The phone's always dying, Apple is. And spare mask and my lighter that I gave to somebody. Didn't get back. But yeah, that's basically it. Same kind of man bag. It's all put my keys on it, so it's not a purse. My keys on my hip. You know what I mean?
No, with all the other stuff in there, your wallet, you put your wallet in there, it's a purse.
Yeah. I mean, one thing, I carry credentials, so they're big, they're heavy, and I don't really put that in my pocket. It's like sitting on a little phone book here.
All right. Well, here's what's going to differentiate. Does it go around the waist?
No, it swings just like his does.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's the top
if it goes
right
around the waist, that's a fanny pack.
It's a fanny pack. Yeah,
that's like.
I mean, but you know, no man, Hulk Hogan wore a fanny pack.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So it's slightly above purse.
Huge difference.
Back in the day, it was okay to wear fanny packs.
Yeah,
now it's not.
If you had,
but I wouldn't say it to his face. You know what I mean?
If you had a fanny pack, you had to have a C-Rock or an I-Rock or a some type of Firebird.
Yeah, you had to have a Firebird.
You had to have a fanny pack without a Firebird.
With the T-tops
or some type of Camaro or something. You had to have some.
You know what though? I'm not against that though. That's pretty live. I drive an old '87 I-Rock. That's my bag right there.
I started wearing MC Hammer zebra pants.
The little parachute pants.
Yeah, the parachute pants.
And the bright colors and the big beard.
The early '90s doesn't get enough credit for its nostalgia.
That was a good time.
And on top of that, a lot of good guns came out in that time.
Yes.
So, I think Colt right around that time stopped making revolvers, but you had the Colt Mustangs that were really big around that time. The Smith & Wesson, I want to say it was the 5906.
Those are the old detective guns, right?
The second
5906s and the 4507, whatever those things were. Yeah, those are
the second gen Smith & Wessons. Those are some good.
What kind of bag is that?
This is an Oakley bag. I'm an Oakley whore, man. I love Oakley shit, bro. I go to the store every day. Yeah, I mean that's kind of my thing, man. Really comfortable bag. It's really lightweight. They offer two different ones. The one that have it's about this size, but the whole back of it you can see through it. And I put my gun in there, I can see it. I'm like, yeah, probably not in this day and age. But yeah, man, that's comfortable bags. You can go with this was like $45. It ain't really crazy expensive.
Another thing I like about it is it doesn't look too tactical. I mean, it looks nice, but it doesn't look like it doesn't scream. There's a gun in here. There's no Molly. There's no, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got to be careful about that too, because a lot of times people see that and know you have a gun. They be like, that guy definitely has a gun. You know what I mean? Those bags out there have the Molly loops.
The Maxpedition.
Yeah, the ones, like the little side carry one. Yeah, it's pretty obvious what you're carrying. It's probably just like a bag that you're comfortable with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So be careful with that. People can automatically eye you and know you about that. Especially when you're wearing all the gear too, with the flag hats. And you're like, oh yeah, that guy's definitely carrying a gun. For real, man. But go ahead, Eddie, your turn.
All right, so I don't carry a bag. I carry all my stuff in my pockets or on my person. So my everyday carry is kept inside of a Kydex holster that just goes inside the waistband. My everyday carry is a Glock 23, which I do carry chambered. But this gun is just like tried and true. I had a Glock 23 a long time ago. It was a Glock 23C. That was actually like my first serious handgun that I purchased from the store. And me and that gun went through a lot together. I ended up selling it, just making a bad choice. After I sold it, it took me a couple guns to get back to the 23, but this has always been like my tried and true #1 gun that I would go to in a moment where there was ever an emergency. I wanted to feel comfortable. I felt like the stopping power of the 40 caliber plus the magazine capacity just led for like a really good package. I actually got this gun heavily modified. I bought this gun actually while we were all working at the gun range together.
Really?
And I did a lot to it. First thing I did was change the sights, but I've gone as far as changing the spring kit. When I say spring kit, a lot of people may not know that much about guns. You won't know what I'm talking about, but basically I'm talking about the plunger safety spring, the striker spring, and the trigger return spring. For anybody who knows what those things are, you know what I'm talking about. There's a couple different companies out there that make different spring kits for this particular gun, and I purchased all three of them, trying to find the right one. And what I actually ended up with was the Zev spring kit with a, no, I apologize. I ended up with the Ghost spring kit with the Zev connector and an Apex flat face trigger with a Gen 3 Glock factory trigger bar. This is a Gen 4, but it has a Gen 3 factory trigger bar.
And actually, the funny thing is, I don't interrupt you, but that's exactly the same setup I have on the Glock. That's my carry, my Glock 19 I carry. The exact same setup because it works awesome. It's a great trigger package altogether. They just package all that shit together.
This is hands down, and I'm not just saying like I'm not being braggadocious because all I did was just put parts in it. There was no sanding, there was no grinding, no like real smithing done to it besides what I put inside of the trigger. And in my opinion, it is the smoothest trigger I've ever felt on the Glock. It feels amazing. It's like butter. It breaks consistently at 3 pounds, and like you really can't there's no hesitation point when you're squeezing the trigger. It just goes straight through. While you're expecting it to stop moving, the gun goes bang. It just feels so smooth. And then the reset is audible. That's what made me do so much work to it, is because when I couldn't get that audible trigger reset until I was able to put the Ghost spring kit back in, I just automatically assumed that Zev, the name Zev, was just going to be better because they make better stuff and they were very popular at the time. And they do make great products. The only thing is I just found that the spring kit that Ghost made was just a little bit better and to my liking, because it definitely gave me back that trigger reset. But the Ghost connector did not give me an audible reset until I switched to the Zev. So it's just that combination for some reason is what ended up working for me. And like I said, it's the smoothest I've ever felt. I'm completely happy with it.
What kind of sights are those?
These are just Trigicon, not HD. I forget whatever their basic line is. Yeah. So I think it's the Tough, right? So it's like they have the Trigicon Tough night sights, and then like the HD night sights. The HD usually are a little bit bigger in the circle. This is just their baseline,
which works perfectly fine because all my Glocks have those are the Ameriglows, and those are perfect for just a good good set of sights.
I bought these maybe like 7, 8 years ago, and they still glow perfect.
Hell yeah!
You turn off the lights and they look really good. So cool. Eventually, as soon as it dims, just like a little bit, I'll change them.
So everyone carries a Glock.
Yeah. And I know we're gonna hear all that whole I carry. Look, listen, guys, if you've been in the business before, you know Glock is a solid gun. It is not the best trigger in the world. It's not the best, grip in the world, but it's the best consistent across the board. It's a solid gun. We got to see it in a range environment, which is the best place, in my opinion, to see how reliable a gun is. We put trash ammo through it. We beat them up. These guns were the most rented guns in our range by far.
And they outlasted every other gun. Yeah. Every time when Glock, because we were part of this Glock range program, the range that we used to work at was a part of a Glock range program, which means Glock replaced their guns every so often at a huge discount to anybody who had a range and rented them out. And they would then take the older ones and sell them. My point of saying that is that they never had to like really replace parts or anything like that. They would just get the guns and sell the rental guns as used guns at a discount as well. And they never had any problems selling. They never had any problems. Like they were always working. So nice. They're really good guns.
Yeah, and even we had a Glock 27 that guy brought in one day. And he's like, I found this in a lake or something like that. I think you remember that, right?
Yeah.
And I was like,
the Glock 27.
Yeah, and I brought it in. I was like, let me just see what's wrong with it. Pulled the gun apart. And the only thing that really had it was a little bit of rust on the mainspring. That was a little bit. It was a little bit. We replaced it just to be safe. Otherwise, everything else, it took a bit of cleaning, put it in the sonic tank, cleaned everything out the best we could, and the gun ran. Because, it takes a while for him to come. We put the thing in for the gun being a gun that was found. They have to come pick it up. It took forever to pick it up, so we threw it up there and started practicing with it.
Yeah.
And honestly, the guy brought it in and said he found it in the lake.
Yeah, that gun was a murder weapon.
Yeah, and there was definitely bodies on that gun. So I was like,
driving over Lake Underhill. It was like,
there we go. I'm good to go. And that gun, honestly, man, that gun ran until we left there. And it was years later, man, which they never came and picked it up.
Yeah,
man. So we all know how tough Glocks are, which is why we choose them as an everyday carry. I love them. I mean, when it comes down to a gun that I need is going to be reliable, I'm picking a Glock.
Yeah, but that's not the only gun I would pick.
No, absolutely not.
I'm a huge fan of Sig. I'm a huge fan of Smith & Wesson. I'm a huge fan of Colt. You know, like all different types of guns from like a lot of different makes. FN makes great guns. Beretta makes great guns. And actually, we'll get into that in a little bit. Glock isn't the only gun that I carry. I also have a Smith & Wesson M&P 45 Shield 2.0 that I carry that I'm looking to probably do some trigger work on sometime soon. I also carry another gun that you'll see in a little bit. It's a Beretta PX4 subcompact. And so the Glock isn't the only gun that I would use. I'm not saying that that's the only way to go. There's plenty of other guns that you guys could go with, but this particular gun I've even shot competition with and was able to compete with some guys who were running some like really high-end CZs. So there's no real like disadvantage to having a Glock. If somebody like tends to like downplay how good they are, I usually just like notice like a clown nose pop up. I see their shoes start they become a clown to me. But Glocks are not that bad, or not bad at all. The next thing that I carry on me on a regular basis is also Microtech out the front knife. I have a smaller version than Rock's here. Rock's is quite a bit bigger than mine, but pause. But they're both like really good quality. I like the out the front automatic knife for a number of reasons. One, it's not the only knife that you can open automatically, but it's the only knife that opens automatically and looks this cool while you're doing it.
True. That's cool factor is definitely important.
Yeah, it's huge because you can get bitches off of a knife that you pull out. Like you may be like, hey, hold on, let me cut that tag off of your dress, and then you pull out this knife and she gets a little scared, but she's a little excited.
You cut too cleanly through the tag, probably get a bit of the dress, but whatever. But that's fire though. Just lightly touch her skin. I'm just playing. That's a little creepy. I got a little weird, but no, a out the front knife is good. Like if you are at a disadvantage, like in a tussle with somebody, and you have one hand that's busy, being able to deploy a knife in like fast. Like rapid way is definitely essential. And definitely like, I don't want to tell anybody how to live their lives, but one thing that I've always said that if you ever need to use a knife, you don't want to like pull out the knife and bring attention to it until you're ready to use it. So what I mean by that is if you pull out a knife and somebody sees that you have a knife, then it becomes a struggle for that knife. As opposed to if somebody's trying to wrestle with you or tussle with you and they may have their attention somewhere else, if by the time you get that knife out, you're able to deploy it and use it, that person doesn't have enough time to react in a defensive manner, and it just gives you that much more of an advantage when you do need to use it. But like using a knife in a defensive way is like the worst case scenario, place you never want to be. If you're down to a knife, it's probably already pretty bad.
And the rule is in a knife fight, everybody gets cut. So I wouldn't like look for that to be like a main like way of defense or anything like that. And to be honest, most of the time, I just use it to like open boxes and cut, like stuff. I try to keep it as sharp as I can just in case if I ever need it. But it's just a everyday knife that I carry on me. But if I do carry something on a regular basis, then I do want it to be high quality. So that's why I particularly went with this company called Microtech. A lot of stuff that I have when it comes down to firearms or like everyday carry, I try my best not to cheap out. It gets real easy. I mean, we're all human. We all got regular jobs. Nobody here is rich. And it gets real easy to kind of cut corners when it comes down to some of this stuff, but you definitely don't. I get ammo. I don't look at the price when I purchase ammo. I look at the performance of the ammunition. I don't look at the price when I look at buying a gun. I look at the performance of that firearm and can I trust my life with it. And the same thing when it comes down to a knife. If you ever want to be impressed, look up Microtech because they make great stuff. Stuff. Now, there's a threshold there where you can get too expensive for it to make sense. For example, like Randall knives. Not saying anything bad about Randall knives. They're a staple in the Central Florida community. They're right here from Orlando. They're a great company. I would not spend $600 to $700 on one of their survival knives to then go out and use it on a regular basis, I would want to keep it in the most pristine shape, because at that point it becomes an asset, and it's like, you know, it's gonna do nothing but appreciate in value as opposed to depreciate in value if I were to go out and use it. So it becomes one of those things where if I'm gonna be using it every day, I don't want to spend a fortune on it, but you know, you want to spend enough where you're comfortable that, you know, this is actually going to work. And it's less about how much you spend and more about like the performance of it. You know, if I see that this knife really performs, then I wouldn't mind spending a little bit more on it, but I'm not going to buy it just because it's expensive, if that makes sense. Also, too, on a regular basis, part of my everyday carry is a big lighter, right? And this is important. The reason why is because good friend of mine, rest in peace, name was Cookie, worked alongside him at that same gun range for a lot of years. He was a very smart man, really prepared in like most situations, and always had a pocket full of gizmos and gadgets and stuff that he could use to save his life if he ever needed. And he always said something to me that I thought was really important. His father, another friend of mine, John Floyd, told him was, when a man leaves the house in the morning, he should be wearing a pair of pants, he should have a knife, a lighter, and a gun. A way to create fire if you need it, a way to cut something if you need it, and a way to defend yourself if you need it. So I always kind of took that to heart, and so since then, that's always one thing that I've always paid attention to, is if I'm leaving, that is my checklist when I'm leaving out of the house. Gun, knife, big lighter, then my wallet, then my phone. And, you know, that's how I go about my life.